Hi guys, and welcome to another episode. I'm happy today I have on the bench a famous Acorn Atom, British computer launched back in 1980 by Acorn Computers. It was the ancestor to the BBC computer series back then. You could find it in kit form. You could find it ready-made with just 50 pounds more. I can see some stains over time, but generally in very good condition. I'm happy. Um, we'll have the chance to go around the machine and check what comes with it. A really strange looking case. It's hard plastic, thick plastic, with proper keyboard. Not the greatest feeling. After all, the crazy part is that there is no serial number, no label, nothing. At the back, just a couple of screws, and maybe there are maybe more under the rubber feet. I haven't opened one before, so I don't know. So I'm gonna clean this up and test it later on. First, we have to check the back of the machine, the bus extension for printer. Input output in any case. It's kind of edge connector inside there. You cannot see it properly. It's just an edge connector straight from the PCB. The video is a strange connector right there next to the 8 volts DC input. The tape I/O controlling the tape recorder, and the UHF for the TV right there, and no serial number, nothing can be found at the back, nothing can be found on the bottom case as well. Quite strange. Maybe it used to be a kind of sticker and it's gone by now, I don't know. But in any case, a beautiful, strange looking machine, a heavy machine. I was looking for this for years, and I'm happy I just got the chance to get my hands on it, and hopefully we can make it work, because the seller sold this to me as untested, and you guys all know what this means. In most cases it's not working units. Now, before we get on with the test, and as I always say, we have equipment that is 40 years old. Remember that. Whenever you have something like this, like the original power supply, coming along with some retro machine from that era, you always have to test it. Now, I have to do more than that. I have to put a mains connector. As you can see, we'll get hopefully 8 volts at 1.8 amps. I bet you it's not going to be the case. It's going to be more than that, maybe 10 volts out of this, if it works after all. And this is a natural thing, but of course we have to test it, measure it. I'm going to place the connector right there, and before we plug in the computer. And I have another jack here from my spares, but I guess this one is 3.5 millimeters and it won't do the job. Just keep in mind that the 8 volts DC jack for the Atom is 2.1 millimeters, if I'm not mistaken. And so we have to conduct a test every time we have equipment that is so old. We do not trust the electrolytic capacitors of these things after all these years, and yeah, test it before you plug it in. Now, having said that, and having replaced the mains jack, here comes the test, and as you can see, we almost have 11 volts DC coming out. The interesting thing about the Acorn Atom power supply, the original one, was 1.5 amps, which was good enough for a machine that used to have 2 kilobytes of RAM, but that was expandable to 12. kilobytes of RAM, so by adding some chips. So this one is 1.8, and as far as I know, they have replaced the first draft of the power supplies back then. And it wasn't just that. The first built-in BASIC was quite limited, so you could install an optional 4K ROM to add the ability to use floating point numbers, and moreover you could add an additional graphics card on the port. So all that could sum up to at least 2.5 amps to make it work properly. So that's why the first draft of the power supplies has been replaced. Now, going under the hood, you can see it was only a couple of big thick screws holding the cases together, the upper part, the bottom part, and this is the big thick and heavy plastic case, and again no screws under the rubber feet. And here is the PCB in its full glory. Surprisingly enough, everything is socketed, which is a good thing. It's clean, no dust, no rust at all. I'm happy. Here we can find the Motorola graphics generator. The power jack is loose. I have to fix that. We can see the circuit for stabilizing 5 volts, a couple of voltage regulators, and a big, well, not so big, heatsink. Produces a lot of heat. Here is the central processing unit 6502, and here is the ROM chip, and underneath that there's another blue socket waiting for another ROM chip. Some other free sockets there for the 6522 VIA chip if somebody wants to add this. Everything is in pretty good shape except for the power connector. The TV modulator is looking good and shiny. So yeah, we have pretty good chances we can make this work. Or is it working? Now that we have prepared the power supply, I guess we can give it a try. The RAM chips are all populated. The sockets, the location for the RAM is all populated with chips. Another thing I should do pretty easily and quickly in another video is to swap the voltage regulators with an external power supply to give us 5 volt stabilized DC and get rid of the heat and all that. So there are many things you can do, many things you can play along with the voltage thing with an extra ROM chip, or you can upgrade, of course, your 2 kilobytes of RAM and go to 12 at any point. Or you can do video modification, so you get a better picture on TV. For starters, now let's deal with the TV modulator, which doesn't seem to work, and surprisingly enough, which is a good thing, I have the prompt, as you can see somehow, Acorn Atom on the screen whenever I try to press down the coil or to touch the circuit around the coil right there. And if I hold it with my hand, the coil makes better connection or whatever have you, and there is kind of a message, the prompt comes on the screen. When I try to adjust the coil at some point and press it down, something is happening, but whenever I release the screwdriver, gets back to nothing. So the first thing we need to do now is to deal with the video signal. And this reminded me of a couple of books that came together with the machine. The Atomic Theory, which is the Bible for this machine, and this little tiny book which comes with technical specifications and information. So TV video monitor, page 13. Let's go there, and indeed we can see a strange diagram for PL4, which is a connector. I need to spot that, I need to locate this, and from there we can get from pin 9 and 10 0 volts and composite signal, which is great, sounds great. PL4 we're looking for pins 9 and 10, and of course it will give us a monochrome picture. If you want to get a color, you need to put the encoder circuit fitted inside. That's another project, another thing to do. This PCB is so playful, I like it so much. So there we go. We have the point to get to steal the signal from and see what happens. And I have high hopes, because we could see clearly by squeezing the coil which is inside the TV modulator. Something comes up. Actually the prompt comes up, weak unstable signal, but still the computer is working, which is great news. And yeah, hopefully we can get a stable signal coming out using this connector 4, as the paper describes. And so we need to locate connector 4 and go for pin 9, and this is a trick I do. I always have a V3 ready with a cable ready in order to use the tip of the RCA and check the signal right there on the spot. So we go for pin 9, which is right there, and let me make some good contact with the tip of the RCA, and hopefully we can get a clear, well, almost picture. So this is the signal, connector 4, pin 9 as described exactly, and I guess the pin 10 0 volts is needed, and then we can have and then we can have the perfect image. Of course this is an LCD TV, it's not a CRT monitor. I guess the CRT monitor looks better, but I can try that. I have a CRT monitor somewhere, but there we go. We have the E signal as clear as it gets. I'm going to place a connector right there, steal the contact, bring it out of the box somehow, and make a connection. I think I'm going to be using this little female RCA I found around here in the lab somewhere. It was ready-made for ZX Spectrum, but what the heck. And so we can get our picture, and we can start writing some code on this machine. Needless to say, I don't have any software at all, nor the cable to use a tape recorder or anything. So I think it is good enough today as a review. A review that gives me hope that I'll be playing with this PCB further in the future, and I'll be preparing more episodes. For the time being, the closest match I could get to get this thing connected is a part of an old ventilation fan of some sort. So I have just put it there, connected the black wire as marked pin 9 to the female RCA, and feed the TV, the screen, and I'm gonna chop off the rest, the yellow and the red remaining cables, and leave it there for a while. Yeah, I'm gonna be cutting off those two, and the signal looks good. The cable is long enough to get out of the box right next to the power jack, and it's not pretty, but I think I'm going to be putting a decent female RCA, I mean with a plastic shield later on. And there you go. We have it ready for action. And now, as appetite grows bigger, I will look for a floating point second ROM to place inside, for any other goodies that I can find around the web, and hopefully I can make it. I can make modifications and make this machine better. So this is how it looks. Yeah, the connection we made. Easily coming out of the box, no problems, and no need for any drilling or anything. The signal, the composite signal comes out. TV modulator needs to be fixed. Sorry, I have to take this away. And we have a signal on the screen, and I like the character set very much. Looks like bold or something. Very nice. So I wrote a simple program just to see that everything is working fine, as I always do. The machine, it's the first one actually that I got my hands on. This chance is neat and fantastic. I think I'm gonna be working, as I said, more on this machine, and I can prepare more videos. Here is a simple rectangle drawing, but it goes very fast. Anyways, the successor to this machine was the famous BBC Micro. I suggest you guys watch the Microman movie from BBC if you haven't done this already, which actually is the whole idea, the whole story about this machine and Acorn. Somebody told me that they used to call it the British Apple back in the day. So it's interesting. Microman, BBC Productions. If you take the chance, just give it a try. You're gonna love this movie. And the BBC was very successful, as Acorn won this BBC contract for the computer literacy program, as they used to call it back then. So BBC Micro could be found in every school in England. So that was quite a story, right? So we're done with this one, and hopefully I can get back with more over this. And just a heads up, here is my BBC Micro, the successor to the Atom, and the most popular Acorn machine ever made, I believe. So whenever I have the chance to replace or fix the fried power supply and make it work again, I'll be fixing a video soon also for the successor to the Atom, the BBC Micro, the famous BBC Micro. So thanks for watching. Gives us a thumbs up if you like this stuff, and consider subscribing. Thank you. Bye.